Lessman. Oh, and Adam Freeman.
There you are, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Monday Night Show. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Tonight is a night we always look forward to. The one, the only, Mr. Andrew Lessman is taking over the show for a 2-hour spectacular.
We're sharing the show. I'm not taking it over.
We're like co-hosts.
Yes.
Co-hosts.
We're sharing. We're sharing with everyone out there because the show is all about the questions and all the products that everyone has wanted me to talk about. So we have a special way we're going to go through the products based upon basically the lineup of the show is written by everyone out there. So it's everyone out there that's taken over the show tonight.
It is true. Basically. Andrew, literally, he was putting together the products based upon your wonderful questions. And Andrew, we have stepped forward into the 21st century. We now have an iPad on the Monday Night Show.
I was asked if you could be trusted with the iPad. and I said, I really can't answer that question.
We will soon discover.
Well, they have a special hand-holding device for you there. That's good. A little risk of falling.
We're not insured in case it does drop.
It's like an iPad mitten.
I'll get you one for Christmas.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we're going to get started the best way we know how, and Andrew, that's with a quick overview. I love what you've put together because we start with Essential 1.
The most common question I'm asked is where to start. So we start with Essential 1, but before we talk about Essential 1, I wanted to just talk about some separate vitamins that sometimes folks choose to get extra amounts of. And then we'll talk about Essential 1 right after. So we're quickly going to talk about vitamin C, our special vitamin E, our special vitamin C as well, our B12 and vitamin D. So we're going to go over to the other set right next here and speak about those 4 separates. Then we'll come over here and talk about Essential 1 in depth. And I'm doing that because that's where people typically start with their multivitamin. It's the best place to start. It's the foundation of all nutrition. It's what defines healthy food, is being rich in vitamins, minerals, and say carotenoids as well, which our multivitamin provides carotenoids as well. But a lot of folks choose to start with a separate. They take separate vitamin C or separate vitamin D or separate vitamin E, which we have a special form of that, or it might be separate B complex with B12. Those are the 4 vitamins we tend to be deficient or insufficient in terms of overall population. So I figured we'd talk about each of those. And I think we'll start with vitamin C first.
This is great. And I think, you know, one of the things that we love to do is to really dig deep, go for a deep dive into vitamins. Because Andrew, this is it. These are the essential components.
And one of the most common questions I was asked is some people take vitamin C drinks or they take vitamin C tablets.
Right.
It causes sores in their mouth. It causes upset stomach. Will my product do that? Absolutely not. Our vitamin C is non-acidic. You can open the capsule, you can mix it with water, you can mix it with yogurt, you can mix it in a smoothie. It's non-acidic. It's the same pH as water. Our vitamin C is calcium ascorbate. We also blend it with naturally occurring bioflavonoids, which are natural protective factors that come along with vitamin C in nature. So in terms of vitamin C, all of the problems that tend to discourage folks from taking extra vitamin C, say if they're trying to support their immune system, and vitamin C is also very healthy for the skin and collagen synthesis, important when we're getting sun exposure over the summer. So our vitamin C delivers all the things you want without any problems.
One of the things we won't be doing a lot tonight is talking about pricing. Just know, as Andrew takes us through this on a guided tour, everything is still on special pricing until the end of this evening.
And this one, we should just mention, the pricing on this is crazy today. It's less than $0.10 a capsule for our special vitamin C. I think it ends up, it's almost half price. So our vitamin C is very special. We did that because our today's special the other day was our marine collagen peptides, and you can't make collagen without vitamin C, so this supports your own synthesis of collagen. But as you can see, it's about $0.10 a capsule for the most sophisticated vitamin C you're going to find out there.
And we'll talk a lot about the difference between Andrew's vitamins and other brands out there as well. But from vitamin C, I suppose, onward to vitamin E.
Vitamin E. And most people, they just buy vitamin E, not realizing that most of the vitamin E in multivitamins, most of the vitamin E they see at supermarkets or discount stores, it's synthetic. It's not natural. Then if it's natural, it's a form of vitamin E that's called, it's a form of vitamin E that's called alpha tocopherol. The predominant and protective form of vitamin E in nature is something called gamma tocopherol. But that's not the form that the supplement industry is focused on. The vitamin E production industry is focused on alpha tocopherol. Your body in nature would really direct you to take gamma tocopherol. Then there's other forms of vitamin E called tocotrienols. So our vitamin E is a blend of tocopherols and tocotrienols, and tocotrienols are even more protective than tocopherols. And so with ours, you're getting predominantly gamma tocopherol and gamma tocotrienol because they're more protective, followed by alpha and also beta and delta. So you get all 4 tocopherols, all 4 tocotrienols, focused on the gamma, which is the most protective. And unfortunately, this is not something you see in multivitamins and not something you see in typical vitamin E products.
So Andrew, with regards to taking a multivitamin versus taking these individually, how do you even talk about that? Well,
I always say you start with the multivitamin, because that's giving you a comprehensive cross-section of the vitamins and minerals that define, as I said, a healthy diet. But then if you want to take extra vitamin C for some reason, or extra vitamin D for some reason, and certainly with our Essential 1, we start with 2,000 IU of vitamin D. So that's a great start. The typical multivitamin starts at 400. So with 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 in our multivitamin, many folks who are normally taking separate vitamin D don't need to.
Right.
If you want to take a little bit more vitamin D, you can, and that's why one of our most popular separates is our vitamin D, which our vitamin D, you could get our vitamin D 1000 or vitamin D 2000. I'm not sure if we've switched the graphic yet. We're still on our graphic, we're still on the graphic for vitamin E. But so as we switch to, and these are just so you know they're available. These are products that we don't talk about normally very much on air. I haven't spoken about tocotrienols probably for years. Vitamin C very rarely. Vitamin D a little bit more frequently, only because vitamin D is truly recognized as an ingredient that if we're not supplementing it, there's a very high likelihood that we're deficient or insufficient. If you look at the research, that likelihood might be 80 to 100%.
Wow.
So vitamin D is something that frequently, when we do today's specials for, say, CoQ10, the last couple of years, we did an option with extra vitamin D. So what we've done is made it easy for folks, whether because of Essential 1 or multivitamin or because of CoQ10, you're already getting your vitamin D.
Well, we're going to go from this to vitamin B12, which is one I know a lot of you have a lot of questions about. Andrew, you can go to the mall now and see lots of these pop-up stores with vitamin B12 shots. Why is vitamin B12 important?
Well, obviously, vitamin B12 is very important. I just am astounded you get vitamin B12 shots at the shopping mall.
They're buzzing, Andrew. They're queuing out the door for it.
Wow. Well, vitamin B12, actually, vitamin B12 can be delivered properly without needing an injection. If you're currently getting injections for vitamin B12, you should show my vitamin B12 supplement to your doctor. The vitamin B12 in our vitamin B12 supplement is the same as the vitamin B12 in my multivitamin. It's the same as the vitamin B12 in our CoQ10. And our form of B12, first of all, it's natural coenzyme form. It's the kind of form that if you're getting an injection, it's the same form they would use. Ours uses methylcobalamin. And our methylcobalamin is unlike the cyanocobalamin that's typically found in all supplements, which actually liberates small amounts of cyanide as your body is using it. And plus, because of the nature of B12, it's a very large molecule, a very fragile molecule. It typically does not survive the stomach to be absorbed subsequently in the intestines. And that's why doctors frequently, and rightfully so, recommend a B12 injection. The research on the form of B12 that we use and the way we deliver it, and we protect it from stomach acid, this B12 can deliver absorptive levels of B12, bioactive, bioavailable levels of B12. So it's very exciting. If you read the reviews on this product, that's something you'll frequently read, is that someone no longer required working with their doctor to get B12 injections because of the nature of the B12. And maybe folks just want to feel like they're doing something, and maybe it's for weight loss, maybe for energy, that the B12 shots are going to magically deliver one or the other. But certainly B vitamins are involved in energy production, involved in fat, and various types of metabolism in the body, but they're not a magic weight loss cure.
So Andrew, what kind of frequency would I take a B12 vitamin? Is this something that now becomes daily in my routine?
Yes, you could take it daily. And part of the problem with B12, even if you deliver it perfectly as we do, the absorption of B12 is only about 1 or 2 or 3%. The typical B12 supplement loses much of its potency probably in the dosage form itself. And the form is unfortunately not going to survive to be absorbed in the body. And that's been demonstrated over years, but the clinical science is clear. If you deliver B12 properly, B12 can be absorbed orally. Unfortunately, it's expensive to do it properly, so most everybody still chooses to deliver cyanocobalamin in an unprotected form. And by most everyone, I would say probably 99.9% of the multivitamins out there, and even if you looked at most of the B12 supplements in retail stores or B-complex supplements in retail stores, it uses cyanocobalamin and it doesn't protect it at all.
So I would ask you to certainly look into Andrew's B12. It's a really beloved product that has wonderful benefits. I've already broken the iPad, Andrew, so I'm going to leave it here for them to fix it.
You broke the iPad. See, I told them we could trust you with that stuff.
Clearly.
But also what I wanted to point out, all the products we just spoke about, including the essential one we're going to talk about now, they're all, if we walk over here, they're all designed to be small, easy to swallow capsules.
Right.
Unlike most vitamins that you see in stores that are manufactured by contract manufacturers, not manufactured by the company whose brand it actually is, we manufacture everything that you see. We do it with solar energy, so we do it environmentally responsibly. But at the same time, we do it being responsible to you that when you're going to take a multivitamin, any kind of dietary supplement, you're doing so because you're seeking benefits. Maybe your doctor recommended you do so, maybe just your own perception of your diet says it's sensible health insurance to get the nutrients that you need. But when you decide to seek those benefits, you shouldn't be embracing problems. And all of my products are specifically and entirely designed to deliver benefits and not to deliver any problems at all. That's the focus of all of our products, is to avoid the problems that typical multivitamins cause, because typical multivitamins, multiminerals, they're basically rocks. And I don't use that figuratively, I use that literally. If these products contain minerals and these minerals are compressed into a dense mass, what did you just create? You created a rock. So both literally and figuratively, they create rocks. We do not. All of my products, whether they're a powder or a liquid comes in a small, easy-to-swallow capsule. The powder is an ultra-fine powder in a small, easy-to-swallow capsule, immediately available. You
know, one of the things that certainly as a host on HSN we learn not to do, because it's not advantageous to anyone, is to describe a product as the best. Because my opinion of something is different to your opinion of something, and not everything can be the best. This is the rare occasion where I always do say it. Andrew's vitamins, in my opinion, are the finest. And even if you've been taking a multivitamin for many, many years, and you know, you see the adverts, you see the commercials, and we believe it's doing good for us, all I would ask is that you take your multivitamin and compare it to Andrew's. Because Andrew, that side by side, yours is the winner.
No, there's absolutely no comparison. If you simply look at purity, the typical multivitamin, we have a whole bunch here. And these are the leading multivitamins. They're all
it's a rainbow of colors.
And they're beautiful colors. I arranged them the other day in the colors of the rainbow. They were red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. They were all there. And they were all there. Ours have no artificial colors, no additives, no binders, no fillers, just an ultrafine powder in a small, easy-to-swallow capsule. You could read all the reviews, and there are thousands, and they'll all talk about how mild it is and how it, even though they had problems in the past with other multivitamins, they had no problem with ours. And no other multivitamin contains zeaxanthin for eye health. Most of them contain trace amounts of lutein or lycopene. Most of them don't even contain them, but if they do, it's trace amounts. None of them contain gamma-tocopherol. Ours contains the most protective form of vitamin E. Again, ours contains the most active form and a protected form of B12, the natural coenzyme form. None of the other leading brands do that. So there's no comparison in terms of quality of ingredients, in terms of amount of ingredients. We actually give you more of what you need and what you want. So it really is an easy decision when it comes to that basic nutritional insurance, essential one. There's no other multivitamin like it.
We're all trying to make the best decisions possible, and the only way we make good decisions is with good information. And I know that's what Andrew relishes being on television for, to being able to impart this information in a way that allows us to make our own decision. The thing is, no matter what I say or Andrew says, the facts speak for themselves. And Andrew, your core principle has always been to deliver the very best product.
That's because we make it ourselves. We have no obstacles to making the very best products. When most companies that are selling things at retail and retail stores, in fact, the largest vitamin brands in America aren't the brands that you might be familiar with. They're the brands that carry the names of the retail stores,
Right.
whether it's retail discount chains, or whether it's a retail grocery chain, or whether it's a retail drug chain. And those folks obviously don't make vitamins. They hire companies to make vitamins for them. They put it out for bid to contract manufacturers. So there isn't an incentive to dig deeply into the science. In their mind, there's an incentive to make you think that all vitamins are created equal.
Right.
So the cheapest stuff is the best stuff. But obviously that's not true. Even when it comes to vitamin E, there's huge differentiation. Between B12, huge differentiation. Between vitamin C, there's forms of vitamin C that will cause upset stomach. There's forms that will not. So when you look at these things, dosage form, swallowing a tablet will be unpleasant. It will have a high likelihood of upsetting your stomach. It brings with it all sorts of unnecessary additives and other chemicals. Most of these tableted vitamins contain sugar because they want it to be sweet in your mouth. So they coat it with things like sugar. So if you really sort of peel back layers of the onion, you learn more and more that all vitamins are not created equal. Our vitamins are objectively superior in terms of their purity, in terms of the choice of ingredients, and that's just very simple. And that's what I've been doing on television, and it's hard to believe, for almost 30 years, is, and since I started my company 39 years ago, is my job is basically to try and provide information about the science, because it's in the interests of all the others out in the marketplace to not have you informed. Because if you are informed, you'd know better than to choose their products, unfortunately.
You know, I think some of us are very trusting, some of us are very skeptical. I'm a little bit of both.
Skeptical is good.
Skeptical is good?
When it comes to our health, it's good to not cross over into cynical.
Right.
But skeptical is good. You deserve answers. You deserve to understand why and how a product will work for you and why it might be superior to another product. You deserve to know that, and that's what I spend most of my time I endeavor to do when I'm up here.
And all I would ask of you at this final show of the visit, and Andrew's not returning, I don't believe, for
3 months, more than 3 months.
Three months from now. I'd love for you to get started on your Essential One. If this is maybe your first introduction to Andrew's brand, it's the best introduction. To take one pill daily that absolutely gives you that kick of confidence, because you're getting and giving your body the things it needs.
And it's like getting a separate vitamin D and a separate B12, which are the two most important separates that I think people can consider. And ours are unlike anyone else's in the market. But there were I have a whole bunch of questions here, hundreds of questions, and I'll answer them as we walk over to the next set. One of them is a question whether we'll start doing products with CBD oil. And since many states in the U.S. have now legalized marijuana.
Yes.
But unfortunately, CBD is derived from the plant, although it doesn't contain any of its psychotropic properties or sort of hallucinogenic properties. And many people are considering that for pain relief or for whatever other benefits they might be considering CBD. Unfortunately, the way the federal government and the laws are still oriented, it would not be a product that could be nationally distributed, even if there was objective science that it was something beneficial to be provided in a nutritional supplement. We wouldn't be in any position to offer that. So we can't do that. We won't be doing that for the foreseeable future.
Good question, though.
Someone asked a very good question, because I often fast. So they were asking about what do they do with their supplements when they're fasting.
Great question.
And because our supplements are so easy to absorb, and you could take the powder, you could open up the capsules and sprinkle it in some juice or something that you might be drinking, or even just water or tea. When I fast, I still drink tea and water or broth. So you could do that. If it's omega-3s, our products, because of their nature, they're soluble, they don't upset your stomach. Certainly, dietary supplements are best absorbed in the presence of food, but there's no reason you can't take these on an empty stomach. They won't upset your stomach. So that's at least what I do. There were a couple of questions I got here about, and I'll answer them because I see them all the time, and it's the fault of my industry, and it's actually something, it's sort of shameful.
Tell me.
It's asking me about products about male enhancement and male performance and things like that. And there's no such thing as a dietary supplement that does that. And the minute someone should ask you that question, you just should, or should be promoting a product like that, you should just know that it's nonsense. It's silliness.
How are they allowed to sell it, Andrew?
I think they get away with it until they get stopped, or they try to make claims that are not really drug claims and things. But certainly, you know, our whatever we're born with, that's what we're born with, and taking no dietary supplement is going to make us taller or going to change our anatomy. So it's just silly, and I feel like so often, whether it's magic weight loss pills or whatever it might be, there used to be pills that were dietary supplements that were on the market that were for female enhancement, for growing bust size. And I'm not sure if you remember them, about 15 or 20 years ago. And I oftentimes find myself on air apologizing for what people in the industry might do, because all it does is detract from the industry as a whole. I mean, you often hear that dietary supplements don't have to be approved. If they don't have to be approved, I'm not sure why FDA visits my facilities often and inspects us. If I was making over-the-counter drugs in my facility, there'd be no more inspections than we have now. There are only specific ingredients that are allowed to be in a dietary supplement that are approved, and no others can. Others outside that are prohibited. So just as drugs can use certain limited substances in their products, the same with dietary supplements. And then we have to be subject to good manufacturing standards and things like that. So actually the industry is rather heavily regulated. What isn't heavily regulated, and people get caught after the fact, unfortunately, is when people make crazy claims, like claims for enhancement of this or that. Or magical weight loss, whether it was green coffee bean extract or raspberry ketone, that people spent billions of dollars on a whole long list of products for weight loss that were just nonsense.
Well, there's no easy way to segue male enhancement to omega-3s, but I'm going to try and do it, Andrew. The reality is...
Well, those were fishy products.
There it is! I was going to say!
And this is not a fishy product. This is our omega-3 fish oil. I'm blushing now.
So am I.
And this will not have any fishy aftertaste. It won't upset your stomach. So on that note.
That's just what I was going to say. Just while we compose ourselves, omega-3 is something that I wrote down here because it's so important. When you talk about eye brain, you talk about heart health, omega-3s from Andrew are quite simply one of his biggest and best sellers with 2,700 five-star reviews. People love it. This is a different omega product to the omega product you have probably been taking and consuming in the past. Andrew, what is the major difference between this and the other brand leaders?
Well, the first thing is this is oriented not just to the science of omega-3s, which I think, well, most supplements on the market don't even contemplate, but also most supplements on the market really don't contemplate your experience. So it's oriented, yes, toward benefit in terms of the science that surrounds omega-3s, and also in terms of being easy to swallow. So it's a smaller capsule that delivers more than the big capsules. Also, the balance of omega-3s, focusing on DHA over EPA. It's more important. It's the focus in nature, but it's not the focus in the industry. So we have to do something different than the rest of the industry to create this product to literally follow Mother Nature. Most omega-3 supplements deliver their omega-3s in a synthetic form. Ours is a natural form, and they don't declare that on their label. Ours is a triglyceride form, theirs is an ethyl ester form. Ours focuses on DHA, theirs focuses on EPA. So there's lots of differences, and then in terms of experience, this will be easier to swallow, it will never upset your stomach, there will never be a fishy aftertaste. Not reduced fishy taste, there will never be a fishy aftertaste. So it's completely unique in the marketplace. It's also environmentally, sustainably harvested. So we do this all responsibly compared, and this is going to be the last, it's a monthly special. So this will be the last time we'll be talking about it for the month because I leave for 3 months.
This is it. This is the last time to see Andrew. Certainly talking about omega-3s. Andrew says it, and we can't say it enough. There are no fishy aftertastes. Final words over here, Andrew. Any questions? From anybody?
No, I was just looking at some good questions. I'm just reading these great questions. Someone was saying that I spend a lot of time in Colorado, which is their home state. Oh. I love running trails in Colorado, mountain biking. That's my favorite thing to do. Would I do any scheduled events and promote healthy activities and things like that? That's sort of an interesting question. I've always... I look at my products as being the most important thing that I do, not me. So to the extent that I could provide important information, then it would be fun to schedule events and things like that. But my focus has always been on if I have something important to say, it's important to share information about the power of healthy diet, the power of healthy lifestyle, and and the importance of intelligent, informed, ethical supplementation. When it comes to supplements, less is more. Knowing what you're taking and knowing why you're using it is critically important, which is why I spend so much time trying to explain the minutiae on each and every product I make.
Have you considered doing a podcast?
Yes, I have. And it's probably, well, I think what I like to do more than podcasts is I just would like to, in fact, because I'm not going to be here now for 3 months, we've been busy the last couple of years, I'll get a little 3-month window. I'll want to do videos. I think the most important thing I can do are videos where we'll have question and answer, where we could do some live online chats. I think that's the most important thing I do, is answer questions and provide information. And as I've said, yes, we make what are objectively the best supplements in the world, and we constantly try to make them better. But a supplement is only as good as the information you get surrounding that decision to try it. That's what's most important.
Well, we're going to spend a few moments talking about CoQ10, which I know for a lot of us is a vitamin supplement that we have purchased in the past, maybe a supplement that a lot of us rely upon. Again, the same foundational story regarding Andrew's CoQ10 versus others. It's different. The principle, the foundation, the science behind it.
And CoQ10, just so everyone knows, this would be a good time to say reorder, but in October, this is going to be our Today Special.
Okay.
We're going to come back with CoQ10 as our Today Special in October. But I thought, because we're talking about what are the first products that people tend to gravitate toward? Where do you start? Certainly Essential One is where you start.
Yes.
Omega-3s, because they are essential. Your body can't make them, so they're like a vitamin or mineral in that respect. That's the next place to go. We don't tend to get them in meaningful quantities in our diet. And certainly, CoQ10, even though our body can make small amounts of it, it functions exactly like a vitamin in our body. And if our body couldn't make it, it would be, without question, the most important vitamin by far, because of the role that it possesses in our body. As we get older, our body makes less and less. Our requirements increase. So it becomes very important to supplement. And it's one of those ingredients that when you supplement, you tend to see and notice a difference. I'm often asked about Ubiquinol versus Ubiquinone. This is Ubiquinone. Ubiquinol is a form that's been heavily promoted by the company that makes it, and it's very, very expensive. It's about, I think it's about 4 or 5 times more expensive than CoQ10. We have Ubiquinol. I'm contemplating making it go away because I look at it as a bad investment. You could purchase 5 times as much CoQ10 Ubiquinone for the price of 1/5 as much Ubiquinol. It's just not a good investment. Most of the science, most of the research, not most, probably over 90% is on Ubiquinone. So I'd rather see you invest less and get more by investing in CoQ10. And when you look at the reviews on this product, they're virtually perfect. So it's a very sound investment as well.
Andrew, how much of your time is taken up with continuing research into developing and evolving your current product line?
I would say that every week I must spend at least 25 to 30 hours reading the science at a minimum.
Wow.
I would estimate at a minimum. And it's sort of my leisure reading. When I like to do a lot of leisure reading, but when I do leisure reading, I do it when I exercise.
Right.
So I usually exercise 1 or 2 hours a day. So that's when I listen to books. I listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
But I only listen to audiobooks in French.
Do you really?
And I annoy Muriel because I listen to them at 1.5 speed. So I listen to them fast so I get more book. So it also forces me to be better with my French. But that's so for me, when I'm reading, I'm reading the science. It's part of my job. It's what I'm passionate about. I love reading the science. And that's what fuels the constantly evolving products, is that because we're always paying attention to the science, we don't decide, it's not a good marketing decision to make this change now. We just printed new labels. I don't care. If we could make the product better, we throw away the labels, we start from scratch, and we make a new product for you.
I told you he was the smartest gentleman I know. We're going to head over this way. You listen at 1.5 speed? In French, Andrew?
Well, I think a lot of people listen to books on tape at faster than normal speed.
Yeah, but not in French.
Well, I now speak French pretty much the same as English.
Wow.
So, well, well, Bill and I pretty much only speak French at home.
It's wonderful.
And one of the best things, I'm always asked another thing, magic pills for avoiding senile dementia, magic pills for avoiding Alzheimer's. The magic for avoiding, say, dementia or Alzheimer's, maintaining our faculties, the magic is, I mean, hopefully we were blessed with good genes, hopefully we've had a healthy lifestyle along the way. And of course, life is a bit of a numbers game, so we try to stack the deck in our favor. And the science and research I'm reading talks constantly about just staying active. Physically active is great, even if it's just walking. Staying physically active is great. The more physically active, the better. Of course, having that healthy diet, rich in healthy fats, is a wonderful thing. Not smoking, a wonderful thing. And it's so incredibly important to keep our brain stimulated. Our brain tends to, what's the word from Alice in Wonderland? We tend to go down the rabbit hole a lot. We get caught in these loops of worry. What I always kind of tell people, just like I say it's great to meditate, to take whatever, it's 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, once or twice a day to meditate, to calm your brain. It's great. If you worry too much, usually we worry all the time and constantly invading our thoughts. Schedule your worry. I like that. Just decide, okay, this time every day, I'm giving myself 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a half hour. That's going to be my worry. I'm going to get it out of my way, out of the way, and that's what I'm going to do. But avoiding ruminating on negative things, avoiding those negative thoughts about the future, negative thoughts about the past, and kind of staying present. And also scheduling that worry time also for the brain. And I know I'm digressing and not talking about Ultimate Eye. I
love it.
But I'm talking about things that are very important to me, because maintaining my mental faculties means I get to do this for a very long life, because I can't do this job without retaining them. But it's incredibly important and beneficial to keep your brain stimulated in a positive way. Gratitude. Thoughts of gratitude. If you want to look at the secretion of healthy chemicals in your body, have thoughts of gratitude. Thoughts of gratitude are wonderful things. So that's a great thing. Learn a new language. Stimulate your brain in a fashion that we normally only stimulate it when we're very young. That's supposedly the only time we really have great faculties to learn a language. I'm proof of the fact that you could learn a language later in life, because my French is just as easy to me as my English. And when I speak French in France, and then I start speaking English, the folks in France ask me, where did I ever learn to speak English like that?
What a compliment.
So we could all surprise ourselves, learn a musical instrument, piano, guitar, whatever it might be. So just because we're getting older, I'm getting older, we're all getting older, I've been doing this on television for almost 30 years, I'm not as young as I used to be, it doesn't mean we've abdicated, we've given up learning to the young. We still can add value to our own lives and other people's lives. And the way to avoid losing our faculties isn't by worrying about whether we're losing them if we can't remember this or that. It's by stimulating ourselves. It's going to be what it's going to be, but it's going to be better if we manage to stimulate ourselves intellectually, creatively, and otherwise, and stay physically active.
I love this, and we're going to continue to thread this conversation throughout the next hour and a half. We really are. It's important. This is our time with Andrew. You know, Andrew's here every couple of months or so, but for the Monday night show,
every 3 months.
Every 3 months, we get a chance to kind of go a little bit further. I know a lot of you do have questions, and we will get to them, I promise.
And this is we've already, I think we'll end up moving on from our Ultimate Eye. Ultimate Eye is important in the summer because as much as I was sort of saying that life is often full of sort of two-edged swords, there's an expression in French, médaille. A medal has two faces to it, or it's two sides, like two sides of a coin, two sides of a sword. They also have the one with the sword also in French, deux tranches. But it's funny because I speak French mostly with Muriel. When I speak English, the French kind of goes to my mind at the same time. But Ultimate Eye is really our protection from something that we look at as our friend. The sun. The sun is the energy and the source behind everything that we live on this planet. The energy of existence on this planet originates with the sun. But at the same time, we know we must wear sunscreen. We know we must wear sunglasses. The sun is the enemy in the summer of our healthy eyes because the radiation that the sun emanates is damaging to our eyes. So lutein and zeaxanthin in this product, the other protective compounds in this product can help protect us during this time of year. So it's the one time of year when I tend to emphasize this product.
And there's a lot, if you do get a chance to read the reviews online, it really is quite extraordinary. People talking about sharpness of vision, a lot of people talking about eye fatigue. We live in a day and an age where we are all glued to our phones and our tablets, and that can't be very good for our eyes.
Well, the validation of the fact that it's an important consideration. If you look, I know my mobile phone, and if you look at most mobile phones, and you look at if you go to the section that deals with your display, there's a display setting that's a blue light filter.
Right.
That allows you, and I suspect there's a blue light filter on that iPad, that allows you to reduce the blue light that's originating from that device, and if you're looking at it, it's emanating into your eyes. So again, it's just something we need to be aware of. Lutein and zeaxanthin, it originated long before we created mobile devices and started increasing the radiation exposure that we might have in our eyes, but it's something that helps us in terms of accommodation and dealing with those challenges that we all face.
Any final words before Ultimate Eye, before we move on?
Just, it's the last time at monthly special pricing, and it will not be at better pricing than this until April of 2019. So about 9 months from now, when it will be a Today Special again. We try to schedule our Today Specials so everyone could schedule their savings.
Right.
So you purchase products at special purchase pricing when I'm here, birthday pricing, or Today Special pricing.
So on this one, I will just go over them real fast because this is obviously your last chance with July special savings to order Ultimate Eye. I can't recommend this product enough. It's a wonderful, wonderful product, and it is not typically this inexpensive. Most people choose the 360 caps, which would typically retail for $159.90. If you order today with Andrew's final day of the visit, you save $50. I've often asked Andrew if it's ever too late to start taking Ultimate Eye, and he says no. The potency and the quality of this product, again, easy on the stomach. It's not a hard tablet, it's a very fine powder. This is something that can really have an impact, quality of life.
This is a fun one. I'll just open it quickly, because when you make products without additives, and the products are 100% pure, you really get a sense for what's in the product. And if you look at that product, what does it look like? It kind of looks kind of purplish.
It does.
But it looks like there's yellow specks in it. Looks like those yellow specks are additives or something.
Right.
The yellow specks are lutein and zeaxanthin, the same yellow that makes your macula lutea a yellow spot, the macula of your eye. The purple are the berries that that are healthy for the circulation, also protect night vision, support the regeneration of the visual purple portion of our retina. So it gives you insights. All of our products are pure. So if you open any of our two-piece capsules, those ultrafine powders, they're pure.
Right.
So you get to see exactly, there's no binders or fillers or other things added at all.
Pure is better. That's the message.
Well, if you're putting it in your body, yes.
The purer the better.
I would think that no one, when you look at a typical multivitamin or typical supplements with binders and wax and glues and things like that and colors, if we went to our favorite restaurant, even a fast food restaurant, and there was all sorts of crazy colors and additives thrown in, we'd be a little disturbed. We'd send it back. But and it's bizarre that health products, that these dietary supplements are made containing ingredients that no one would consider as being healthy ingredients or additives.
Well, we're going to move on to something which I know always creates a buzz and a stir and gets a great reaction.
This will be very, very quick. Just because it was our Today Special a week ago.
Yep.
And just because we're talking about where people go in terms of moving into our products, healthy hair, skin, and nails is one of the first products people try, or one of the first products they add to our multivitamin. It has exceptional levels of biotin. It also offers other nutrients that support the growth of our hair, skin, and nails. On the bottom of the screen is marine collagen peptides. That was our Today Special yesterday. So I'm sure most people had an opportunity and took advantage of the Today Special pricing, but there's birthday pricing at least right now. So this is, in terms of foundational beauty, the healthy hair, skin, and nails is really the machinery and it's really the tools to build and grow these tissues. The marine collagen peptides that you see at the bottom of the screen, that's the structural components that really is the extracellular matrix, the integrating components in our body. So there are two products that I spoke about at length yesterday and a week ago yesterday, but they're the two really most important ways to approach inner beauty. And when it comes to beauty, it all begins on the inside. Once we see the tissues on the outside, they've already been made, they've already been created, they're already, unfortunately, deceased.
Bernadette says, I learned so much from Andrew. Thank you. And folks, just so you know that if you're watching us on our Facebook live stream right now, you can actually interact with Andrew and I and also the team from ProCaps. So Andrew's team is on standby and are there to help answer any questions you may have, which is wonderful.
And by the way, someone was asking if they could use our B12 for vegan. And if you're taking our B12, you could just open the capsule and you could empty, and that would be fine. And it's interesting. A lot of times I'm asked questions about veggie caps or not. Some products will use a, quote, a veggie cap. It's not really a veggie cap. They're made from hydroxypropyl methylcellulose, which is a product basically of kind of the pulping industry. What I like about it, for certain ingredients, it resists availability in the stomach a little bit longer than gelatin. Gelatin is actually, it is the best in terms of delivering nutrients reliably. And it's also the most affordable way to deliver it in everyone's interest here. So we choose which capsule is going to be best depending on the product. So, and that's always our goal, is making sure that we make the product that's going to be best for you and most effective for you. Everything is so well thought out. And for anybody that has ever watched us while we're at Andrew's facility in Henderson, Nevada, it really is an experience to see it. And someone was asking about, we should probably move on, because we talked about this, about leg cramps. And I see about restless leg or leg cramps or swelling of the veins in the leg and things like that. We'll be talking about circulation and vein support for healthy legs, I think a little bit later in the next hour. So that's going to be coming up a little bit later, but that's something that very specifically addresses those issues. Again, not a drug, not a medicine, but a product that naturally addresses those issues. Andrew, you talk a lot about, as you mentioned, Colorado, you mentioned being active. Something happened there. Probably somebody else dropped another iPad. But one of the keys to that is maintaining a flexibility. Obviously, your joints. This is something that you have developed to help all of us. Well, glucosamine and chondroitin, we've been doing glucosamine and chondroitin since 1979, long before any other company was doing so. Gosh. And the key to doing it, obviously, there's now hundreds, if not thousands, there's obviously thousands of glucosamine and chondroitin, probably tens of thousands out there. Again, most of them not made by the company that's selling them, made by contract manufacturers. And the moment you get into that world of contract manufacture, what generally happens, people are just trying to make the cheapest product possible. So they reach for something called glucosamine hydrochloride, which is a cheaper form of glucosamine, but it's not the form of glucosamine that follows the science. So the most important attribute or aspect of a glucosamine product is the proper form, the sulfate form. Most chondroitin is the sodium salt, not good if you're watching your blood pressure and sodium intake. Also, glucosamine hydrochloride, hydrochloride is hydrochloric acid. It could increase acidity. Most of us don't want to be consuming something that's increasing acidity, especially when you put it in a tableted form that can be hard to swallow and disintegrate slowly. So it's not the best form in terms of consuming it and being gentle to your stomach. Ours is. It's, again, an ultrafine powder in a capsule, which I'll open one quickly here, as we see there. Small capsule. And that's basically all of my products. They kind of all look the same. They're all an ultrafine powder in a capsule. They don't have additional additives in that product. What you're looking at there is you're looking at glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate. That's it. So when we talk about the tablets, the rocks, as it were, is that cheaper to manufacture like that? Oh, yeah. Right. Oh, much cheaper. I could manufacture tablets for less than it costs me to purchase empty capsules. Oh, my goodness. And then in our case, when we're putting material in empty capsules, what every other company does that fills capsules, they make sure that they have other ingredients, other excipients in there. that make the capsules, makes that powder flow more readily into the capsule. And then when the powder enters the capsule, it lubricates the two halves of the capsule so they go together more gently, more easily.
Right.
We don't have the luxury of doing that because we don't use additives. So we have to figure out, that's one of the reasons why we're found in Henderson, Nevada, at altitude in Henderson, Nevada, because the dry environment there means that powders behave better. Humidity makes powders behave not so well. So I moved my company from Santa Monica to Henderson, Nevada to ensure that we could make all of the products that you want and make them without any manufacturing additives, no lubricants or flowing agents.
Andrew, we have a question from Donna asking if we're going to open a capsule for the Healthy Eye supplement. I don't know if that's possible. If
that's what we just did. That was the one that we opened a moment ago.
Oh, fantastic.
That was purple and yellow.
Oh, yes, it was, of course.
Exactly what they did.
So we
need
did,
to take the memory product. So,
I'm a little embarrassed right now.
No,
we did just do this 30 seconds ago.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just 5 minutes behind, Andrew. That's how I work.
It's a tape delay.
That's my excuse.
You're on tape delay, yes.
Jen says, Jen talks about how all your caps can be opened except the omegas, correct?
Yes, the omega. Well, you could open the omegas. I mean, just as some folks will open the phytoceramides capsule.
Right.
The phytoceramides phytoceramides work internally by moisturizing. That's how they work in our skin. But they have an emollient effect on the outside. Just as some people will open our vitamin E, our tocotrienol capsule, if they say get a burn on their skin or something like that. You could open it. You could prick it with a pin. Then you could squeeze the capsule, and a little bit of the contents will flow out. Also, someone was asking, because the phytoceramides are derived from wheat. They're asking, how could it possibly be gluten-free?
Right.
And that's very easily. You just make sure that you're not using the fraction of the wheat that contains gluten. So it's very easy to do that. It's very easy to make a product line, and all of our products, even our wheatgrass in our green foods product, our green foods formula, that formula, we have wheatgrass in there and barley grass in there, but it's gluten-free. And again, for something to be considered gluten-free, I think the standard is, if I'm not mistaken, it's 20 parts per million, which is an extremely low level. In fact, most oatmeal and oat bran in America isn't gluten-free. Ours is, but most isn't gluten-free because it's just secondary contamination from transport and shipping and warehouses that it gets above 20 parts per million because oats obviously don't contain gluten. So it's just fascinating. So we make sure, because that's one of the most common questions we're asked, we make sure that the only allergen you might find in a product is something that obviously is there. If it's a fish oil product, it contains fish. It's derived from fish. So there's absolutely no gluten in any of the products I make.
We're going to head over this way to our next item. Andrew, you mentioned turmeric. I'm sorry, no, you didn't. Not yet. Sorry, you mentioned fasting. Again, I'm ahead of myself.
I'm someone who I often intermittently fast, which means oftentimes I'll eat my last meal early in the evening, and I won't eat my next meal until early in the afternoon.
Why?
I think that the human condition is best served in all the physiologic and biochemical research I read, that it's part of a normal human state that we go through periods of not being constantly fed, that we shouldn't be running around with our tank constantly full. One of the things I've always said when I'm asked what I do to make Lincoln a healthy dog, my dog, I define a healthy dog by the fact that a healthy dog is at its optimum weight. So they're relatively thin, they're active, of course, and kind of like a human, relatively thin, active, and then what I often say is hungry. That dog, when that dog eats their meal, they should be hungry. So you don't want your dog overfed, and all of us, we overfeed ourselves, we overfeed our dogs. So I intermittently fast. I probably do that at least 2 or 3 days a week. I intermittently fast. And then about 1 day a week, I do a full fast where I'll go 1 full day without eating. 1 day a week, 1 day every 2 weeks. And that's just something I've always done that. I've done that since I was young. It also gives me a much greater appreciation for how much I enjoy food. Not like I needed to learn how to appreciate food. I inherited that from from my mother. She's watching. So I love food. And but I think for me, it's also a form of restraint and discipline. And if you look at most cultures where people have the greatest longevity, they don't overeat and they go through periods of reduced food consumption. So it's something that as a human being, it's part of our defining genetics is we function best when we're a bit hungry.
This is fascinating. So Andrew, in terms of being in a state of fasting, is there any way, I mean, when you get hungry, let's say we wanted to follow suit and try something like this for our own well-being. When you do feel hungry, what would you do?
Well, first of all, you only do this if you first get this cleared by your doctor in terms of whether it's intermittent fasting. And what I was talking about before is sometimes 16-8, where you eat all your food in an 8-hour period during the day. Say it's between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., or it might be noon to 8 p.m. And then you go from 8 p.m. till noon the next day. So it's not like a really rigorous fasting. We don't eat when we sleep anyhow, so that's kind of easy if you do that kind of intermittent fasting. More lengthy fasting, you kind of work up to. And that's something I think, again, you get cleared with your doctor before you do it. And there's all sorts of different schools of thought, so I tend to be non-dogmatic about these things. What works best for everyone is what makes you feel best. But ultimately, we want to consume healthy foods. We want to consume less of them. We want to consume healthy fats. We want to remain active, and we should try to approximate our healthy weight, our ideal healthy weight.
Well, I've never been shy about admitting it, but I want to be just like Andrew because I'm certain he's going to live forever. Well, hence the reason I ask.
No, I know I'm not going to live forever, but as long as I'm around, I want to be able to live as well as possible.
That's the right answer.
So, and it's something that they always say, what is it? There's so many old sayings, let food be thy medicine. If I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. Right. God takes care of those who take care of themselves. So,
well, with that in mind, we do want to just talk a moment about turmeric. While we're here.
Just quickly, the highlight on turmeric is it's gotten a lot of press. It's very exciting. I see turmeric juice everywhere. That turmeric, in order to be well absorbed, there's only 2 methodologies I've seen for enhancing the absorption of turmeric. Otherwise, it's really poorly absorbed. And one method is, as they've done for centuries or thousands of years in Asia and India, is by cooking with it and using it. When you cook it with fat, it complexes with fat, it's easily absorbed, much better absorbed. Another method used by other supplements is they use black pepper extract, which can also influence the absorption of drugs or other substances, which is a little unpredictable for my taste. And I think it sort of takes advantage of or bypasses our natural ways to absorb turmeric. So we've gone with, I think, the natural method. We simply complex it with fat, a healthy fat, the phospholipid that's predominant in your brain and liver, phosphatidylcholine. So that's why ours delivers not just turmeric, but turmeric that you can absorb and that you could use and that you can benefit from.
We're going to head over this way. Just one quick question. This is from Kathleen. Kathleen's asking, interestingly, do you take your supplements on an empty stomach?
I do not. I typically take my supplements when I eat. Most supplement companies will tell you to do that because they know if you don't do that, you'll suffer from a horrible upset stomach. I could take a handful of my products on an empty stomach without problem. But the way our digestive system works, when you eat food, your digestive system goes into a mode that makes it most receptive to absorbing the nutrients you deliver. So it's just good common sense to deliver those nutrients with food. So our products are gentle to the stomach, even if the stomach is empty, but I always recommend them being introduced with food.
Let's move on to phosphatidylcholine, which is always a fun one to say. Liver and brain benefits.
And what's interesting, the phospholipid that we use to complex our turmeric, we use a small amount, only a few milligrams, but that's exactly what we use to make our turmeric more bioavailable. As far as the most straightforward ingredient for our liver, for our brain, this would be it. This would be the foundational, just as calcium is important for your bones. Phosphatidylcholine is the predominant phospholipid in our brain and in our liver. And what's often talked about with phosphatidylcholine, it's one of the first ingredients that on air, when I talked about kind of a functional claim in terms of something that supports us in the face of those normal age-related changes in memory and concentration, mental acuity. It's not a product, and it disturbs me when supplement companies give the impression that their products or ingredients can do something that might relate to senile dementia or Alzheimer's disease. That's just silliness. It's nonsense. What we can do with our diet, what we can do with supplementation is we can benefit these systems just as a healthy diet supports them. And there's one thing that doctors will not disagree about, that the most powerful thing we do over the course of our lifetime in terms of reducing our risk of all the diseases we fear, it's our diet. That's the keys to our kingdom, and it's never too late. So that's why I always emphasize Muriel's cookbooks, because changing how we eat really is an opportunity to have a profound impact on how we feel, how our heart functions today, how it will function in the future, and how our brain will function in the future.
Andrew, what does a typical breakfast look like for you?
The typical breakfast for me, it can vary, but my typical breakfast when I'm not doing intermittent fasting, it will be oatmeal, or it will be berries. I don't like to consume a lot of sugar, so berries are relatively low in sugar. So I typically do oat bran or oatmeal. I think I prefer oat bran lately over oatmeal. Berries, I'll often do a smoothie. So I'll put a bunch of berries in the blender. I use water. I put protein powder in, usually a banana or a little bit of pineapple, because pineapple has digestive enzymes in it. So that's kind of my typical breakfast, is usually not calorically dense, but very nutrient dense. And that's how I try to eat throughout the day.
So not a particularly heavy breakfast.
No, and I tend to, and now again, my breakfast and lunch tend to be plant-based.
Okay.
And if I'm eating animal protein, it tends to be a dinner. So I've shifted my diet around over the years, if you watched what I talked about over the years, but I'm such a big fan. One of my favorite, when I'm hungry throughout the day, is I'll just grab a teaspoon of pecan butter, or pure pecan butter, or almond butter, or walnut butter. Great healthy fats, great source of protein, good source of fiber. For me, those are just delicious. They're calorically dense, so it doesn't take much to give you a sense of being filling. And sometimes if I'm in a hurry leaving the gym, I'll have a couple of tablespoons of pecan butter, and that will kind of double as my little breakfast, and I'll go work out quickly in the morning.
Well, folks, if you want to order the PC Liver and Brain, it is available right now. Our producer Stevie is telling me, and yeah, it's important to mention our liver antioxidants.
If you want to do a liver cleanse, and a lot of folks too about doing a digestive colon cleanse and liver cleanse, the two products, PC, because that's the structural molecule, phosphatidylcholine of our liver, and then our liver antioxidant extracts, which is basically three plant-based extracts. It has turmeric is one of them, of course. We were just talking about turmeric a moment ago. So turmeric is one, milk thistle is the other, the most important, standardized for silymarin, and then artichoke extracts, and that's standardized for cynarin. So those are the three most important botanicals in terms of supporting the incredible capacity of the liver to actually regenerate its tissue. So
we're going to head over. I think are we done with this one? And I think we have a call as well. Andrew, after you, sir.
Sure.
We have a lot of people queuing in. Sybil takes 22 of your vitamins every morning, Andrew.
That's incredible.
Isn't that wonderful?
Incredible.
Okay, we do want to talk about a supplement that a lot of people want to know about, Cholestacare.
And Cholestacare, there are, fortunately or unfortunately, cholesterol is heavily emphasized in terms of its role in cardiovascular disease.
Right.
I think it's overemphasized, and part of the reason I think it's overemphasized is because a drug industry that is, that I think does at least tens of billions of dollars of sales. I think the worldwide sales of cholesterol-lowering drugs have got to be $40, $50 billion a year or more, bigger than the entire supplement industry. So I think that makes cholesterol a little bit more important than it is, and certainly is part of the equation in cardiovascular risk. But there are some very straightforward things in terms of cardiovascular risk, such as managing our blood pressure, managing our blood sugar, managing our body weight. Something simple in terms of a man, in terms of the ratio of our waist measurement to our measurement around our chest. That's, I think, a more predictive index of cardiovascular risk even than looking at cholesterol. So certainly as a man, you just don't want to be having your weight around the middle. So there's a lot of things we could look at, and unfortunately it's a very large drug industry, a very powerful and influential drug industry that is promoting their wares in terms of lowering cholesterol. This product could work alongside those drugs. It's effective on its own as well. And it gives rise to a significant reduction total in LDL cholesterol level, and it helps reduce cardiovascular heart disease. So It's a product that I think in the context of what our mentality is, most people don't believe that it can actually do what it does, but we couldn't talk about the role it could play in helping to reduce the risk of heart disease or lowering total and LDL cholesterol. We couldn't talk about that in this fashion unless the Food and Drug Administration permitted an independent claim for this ingredient, which they do. And they do permit that claim because it's perfectly safe and it's been proven effective to lower total and LDL cholesterol.
I want to ask my producer, Steve. Steve, are you saying there's a call? Because if there is, I can't see it. Cindy in New York. Cindy, welcome to the Monday Night Show. Thank you for being patient with us. Cindy, say hi to Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Adam.
Hi.
How are you, Cindy?
I love you guys. Everybody at HSN is awesome. What I'm calling for is I wanted to compliment Andrew on all his products.
Thank you.
I've ordered everything this past weekend and the weekend before. I've got like 30 bottles here of the vitamins.
So great.
Now, I will mention,
Yes.
I have a testimony here, but I want to share with you guys. I went to the eye doctors back in May.
Right.
My vision used to be 20/80. Now it's 20/50.
Wow.
I take the eye support. I went to the doctors today. My vision's 20/40 now.
Oh,
that's incredible.
Goodness.
And of course, you probably know what I'm going to say. We can't claim that taking the supplements, certainly ingredients
Right.
that support the health of your eye, but the changes in vision, it can't necessarily be attributed to our products. Certainly, those ingredients can improve the sharpness of vision. They're ingredients that protect the macular region of the retina, or the retina of eye, in terms of exposure to UV radiation and blue light, and they're concentrated there. But that's great to hear. But it's something that I really can't take credit for. As much as I'd like to, I really can't take credit for that.
Cindy?
Gosh, I have no aches or pains.
That's
I'm
great.
free of pain.
Well, that's great.
I take 2 scoops a day. Now, I had one quick question
Sure.
for you guys. Since I'm taking all these vitamins daily, which ones can I open and dilute in water or milk? I know you had a few on that I ordered. The greens, I ordered that one. I saw you yesterday do a sample with that.
Right. It depends
and I can take them all together, correct?
Absolutely. All the products can be taken together, and best to be always taken with food, because that's only best absorbed. But things like green foods could be opened. You could empty virtually any powdered capsule into a smoothie or into yogurt or something like that. So it depends on which products you're talking about, but most of them, all the powder capsules, are freely soluble and can go in a smoothie. Most of them could go in water and even soluble in water at room temperature. So it depends on the product, but they're all ultrafine powders in a capsule, so they should be easy to disperse in any liquid.
Cindy, thank you so much for that wonderful call. Your compliments, your comments are so valued by us, and I know so meaningful to Andrew and his team. They mean the world.
And for me, as much as I like to take credit for every positive experience someone has when they're enjoying the benefits of my product, the real benefits of my product are that we're providing the nutrients, the things that we're likely not getting from our diet.
Yes.
In terms of Ultimate Eye, the lutein and zeaxanthin that we're not getting because in the U.S. diet, it's not a common nutrient in the typical American diet. So as much as I like to take credit, I generally tend to shy away from that.
And just so you know, because ultimately there's only so much that can be said or spoken about on television, and you'll notice, I'm sure, how accurate Andrew is with absolutely everything he says and how he wants to make sure that you get the utmost important, accurate information home to you. I would ask you, if you have a moment to spare, to read the reviews. Cindy talked about Ultimate Eye Support and her experience. Amazing, truly fantastic, and we're thrilled for those results. Check out those products. Cholestacare, if you want to help reduce your cholesterol, this is an ingredient proven to lower cholesterol. The reviews on the say that, yeah, look, 500 5-star reviews. It's a joy to do these shows with Andrew, because the difference it has in people's lives is extraordinary. It's wonderful.
And when it comes to Cholestacare, it's something that I think most people don't recognize. I think we've sort of wrapped our brain around the fact that the only way we see any significant change in our health is if we're relying on a drug company, on a pharmaceutical company. We certainly see the advertisements when you watch TV all the time.
Right.
But our diets are, very powerful. Most doctors will say that most of half our risk of cancer and half our risk of heart disease or more is attributable to diet and lifestyle. So there's powerful control that we have over our risk of disease. And that's what I really like to emphasize is how much influence we have over the quality of our life and the quality of our health. We just have to make and choose to make those right decisions.
We're going to head over to cinnamon, but if you have anything to say to Andrew or any questions you want to ask Andrew, call us 1-866-376-8255. Or, of course, you can also find us on our Facebook live stream on HSN's page. I can see everything and everybody. I'm trying to keep looking down and seeing what folks are saying, and if there's anything you want me to ask Andrew, please go for it. It definitely helps if it can be about the item that we're on at the moment, but we'll do the best we can. And Andrew's team, of course, are there answering questions as well.
And just a couple of questions. There were a couple of questions. On our Ultimate Eye supplement, we have some green tea extract in our Ultimate Eye supplement.
Right.
And someone was asking me, are there significant levels of caffeine in our Ultimate Eye supplement? The answer to that would be no.
Right.
That the levels of green tea extract, the green tea extract that we use, which is principally the green tea extract is 98% polyphenols. So it just effectively doesn't leave any room, practically speaking, for caffeine anyhow. So you don't have to worry about there being in our green tea extract any significant levels of caffeine at all. Also, someone's vitamin D level, they went and had it checked, and their vitamin D level was 12. And that's why I always recommend folks to check their vitamin D level, and that's extremely low. And they asked me if 5,000 IU daily was going to be adequate. Of course, initially, you start off with a higher level to get your vitamin D levels where they need to be. But depending on body weight, depending on body fat and body composition, typically somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 IU will be sufficient to get to a proper vitamin D level, blood level. And if you have higher body fat levels, if you're overweight or obese, you're going to have to increase that a little, so it's going to be something more like 3,000 to 6,000 or 7,000. But again, you need to get your vitamin D level tested, and your doctor can tell you.
Andrew, just a couple of quick ones. I don't know if, in fact, no, our producer's telling us just real fast we need to definitely talk about cinnamon. A lot of you wondering what this does, the benefits of this. Andrew, we didn't just go into the kitchen, open the cabinet, and take some cinnamon and put them in a capsule, did we?
This is a very specific cinnamon extract. In fact, there's some, I noticed a question here that there's some information floating around on the internet about liver damage from certain forms of cinnamon. That would not be the case, obviously, with the form of cinnamon that we use. And our cinnamon, we focus this extract on the component that has been shown in the scientific research and clinical studies to help support healthy blood sugar metabolism. That's what this product is all about. You could use it if you want as kind of a cinnamon spice. I'll often open capsules on my oatmeal or my oat bran in the morning, or Muriel, when she makes her little kind of her soy latte at the house. Yep. She'll open a capsule on top of that as well. So it does still have a bit of the taste of cinnamon, but it's not, its focus isn't taste. Its focus is all about helping to support us in an area that most of us seek a little bit of assistance right now.
We're going to head over this way in just a second. Andrew, I don't know if these can be quick answers. I don't know what the questions really are, but it says, can you talk about, Patricia says, can you say anything about human growth hormone supplements that seem to be the rage now, like Severital or something?
I am not aware. There's all sorts of different branded supplements that talk about increasing human growth hormone. I'm not aware of a dietary supplement. Being more active, exercise, weight training, increasing our body mass level, that helps us increase our production, our inherent production of human growth hormone. You could always talk to your doctor, but and there's some hormone precursors that your doctor could recommend that don't involve actually injecting human growth hormone. But I'm not aware, and I'd be the first person to recommend it. If there were some, there are all these little herbs, like what is it? Tribulus terrestris. There's all these different herbs and botanicals that have been recommended in the bodybuilding industry to increase testosterone levels, to increase human growth hormone levels. And frankly, I haven't seen any credible research or science in that regard. Plus, frankly, when we look at IGF levels, and that's typically how we measure human growth hormone, the higher levels there are, I see a lot of science that talks about that increasing risk of cancer. So these are things that we do very cautiously and carefully, working with a doctor or an endocrinologist, that I really don't think should be the appropriate subject of dietary supplementation without the support of a physician in terms of monitoring what our actual growth hormone levels are. So
we'll head over this way. And another question, Andrew, a good one from Joe. I know you get this a lot. Can you use Cholestacare with cholesterol-lowering medicine?
Yeah, the first thing I had said before is yes. Absolutely, they work by entirely different mechanisms. So if you're taking Cholestacare, you'll lower your cholesterol even more. So if you're taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, you still get just as much benefit from Cholestacare. Just as much. In fact, well, you could read the reviews, you'll see hundreds of people that either eliminated cholesterol-lowering drugs, were able to avoid taking them, or were able to reduce the levels they were taking. Of course, that's done working with your physician, but absolutely, they work in your digestive system, whereas cholesterol-lowering drugs work by affecting an enzyme, HMG-CoA reductase, in your liver. And that's why you need to get blood tests, or should get blood tests frequently, to make sure liver function isn't being affected by those drugs. So they have a much more complicated mechanism. Cholestacare works by not being absorbed, basically. Cholestacare works by blocking the absorption of cholesterol, or even blocking the absorption, the reabsorption of bile salts. So it's a harmless mechanism in terms of Cholestacare. So they work perfectly together if you choose to try them that way.
This show is flying by, folks, and we'll try and get to as many things as possible, I promise. I know everybody wants to kind of ask Andrew a question. He's a font of information. Cranberry is another one used for years and years, centuries as a traditional remedy.
Well, probably more than 1,000 years. And what's great, it's one of those ingredients like turmeric that you of course hear the traditional remedies, and how wonderful it is that when science digs in and validates the traditional attributes or recommendation of those traditional remedies. And cranberry certainly is one of those. And cranberry is one of those ingredients that it's often attributed, and certainly if you read the reviews of this product and how it discusses its impact on urinary tract health and bladder health, you almost start thinking, gosh, it almost kind of sounds like a drug or a medicine.
Right.
But no, drugs or medicines, like they act on different things. What this product works, how this product works and what it does, it works on the environment in your bladder, and it just creates an environment, just as say friendly flora creates a more hospitable environment for friendly flora, and an inhospitable environment for unfriendly flora, unfriendly pathogens or bacteria. That's basically how cranberry works. It's the protective compounds in cranberry just have this unique attribute of making our bladder and urinary tract a better environment in terms of how we feel and how it functions. So it's not functioning as a drug at all. It's just creating a better, healthier environment, and we reap the benefits of that.
Andrew, Cindy asks, if you drink cranberry juice, you sometimes get a reaction. Will the cranberry nutrients make you react as well?
I'm not sure what reaction she might be referring to from cranberry juice. The only reaction I would know from cranberry juice is all the sugar it contains is maybe getting a sugar rush or a sugar crash. But I've been taking this product since we've made it, and I have never noticed any reaction whatsoever to it. And if you read the reviews, of which there's hundreds to read, I'd say about 95–96% of them are positive reviews, and I don't think there's a single review that talks about a reaction. All we do here is we take the best parts of the cranberry fruit, we eliminate the sugar and the things that we don't want, and we focus on the protective compounds that we want and that deliver and support and promote that healthier environment in our urinary tract and bladder.
Just a reminder, this is our birthday month. HSN turns 41 years old, and this is the end of Andrew's visit. His next visit is going to be in 3 months from now. So if there's something you see tonight, you are able to lock in those special prices. And of course, on all Andrew's products, products, you can take advantage of free shipping if you're ordering today, and of course those wonderful savings that are there as well. So if there's something even that you're not seeing on the show tonight, you're more than welcome to shop online at hsn.com. We're going to head over this way.
After, I guess, midnight this evening, all of our birthday pricing goes away for 3 months.
It does.
So if you're close to reordering on anything, I always encourage everyone to reorder while we're here for birthday pricing and free shipping and handling on everything.
And I'll certainly remind everybody a couple more times as well in the next 30, 40 minutes, but truly, if there's something that you saw yesterday or last week or 2 weeks ago, all of that pricing is expiring tonight. So stock up. I know it's easy to let things get away with us and then we tune in or we log on tomorrow to hsn.com. It's like, hang on a minute. Andrew Lessman was on free shipping. It's only for the remainder of this evening. With that in mind, we're going to spend just a couple moments here with Andrew, a product you get bombarded with questions about, Ultimate Women's Wellness.
And it's one of those products that I sort of date myself when I talk about this product, because over 20 years ago, the law had changed as it pertains to supplements, that at one time, menopause and perimenopause, and I almost start, it's not funny to laugh at, but it's so hard to believe that at one time menopause and perimenopause were considered sort of a disease. So I couldn't talk about a supplement and its impact on the symptoms, the normal symptoms of menopause or perimenopause, because that would be talking about a disease. That changed about 20 or so years ago, and this is our product that is made to naturally deal with the normal symptoms, the hot flashes, the interruptions of sleep, the mood disruptions that can occur with menopause. And certainly the one thing I've learned in talking about this product for 30-some years is menopause and perimenopause are as unique an individual, say, as our fingerprints are. That no two women experience it in the same fashion. To some women, it's not a blip on their radar. To other women, it could be incredibly, incredibly disruptive. For some women, they might be experiencing perimenopause in their 30s. To others, it might not start into their mid-50s. So it's an incredibly individual experience. What we've done with this product is we've assembled the nutrients basically from the healthy Asian diet. They're these natural isoflavones that exert this mild hormone balancing effect. And I highly recommend that if you're challenged by perimenopause or menopause or even by difficult PMS, that you read the reviews of this product. That the reviews are like my circulation vein support for healthy legs. These are the two products where the reviews are the most passionate and the most compelling. And better than I can speak, certainly I could speak to the science on this product and why we went about formulating it in the fashion we did and delivering the levels of isoflavones we did, just emulating the Japanese diet. But the reviews on this product speak volumes.
Andrew, I don't know if you're aware yet, but apparently there's a new study come out from University of Hawaii about astaxanthin. Just asking if you know about it or if you could find out about it and share information.
There's been dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of studies on astaxanthin. I'm sure the study from University of Hawaii on astaxanthin, I'm sure I've read that study. I think the most recent study on astaxanthin that I read was actually talking about its benefits and its role in, I'm not sure if this is the one from University of Hawaii or not, for its role in potentially in protecting the skin, even though really the only way to protect our skin from sun and UV radiation is using sunscreen, preferably zinc oxide-based sunscreen. I am not a big fan. In fact, I'm a major detractor and critic of chemical sunscreens. So the only sunscreen I ever recommend is zinc oxide. A second choice, if need be, would be a little bit of titanium dioxide. But the chemical sunscreens, if they went away completely, I would celebrate that day. But in terms of astaxanthin, astaxanthin is a separate carotenoid that we make. We often talk about it when we talk about Ultimate Eye. Astaxanthin is the orange color that makes flamingos pink, that makes lobster and crab, their shells, orange. It comes from a specific microorganism, and that's also when we talk about omega-3s. The omega-3s, fish don't make omega-3s. Fish eat omega-3s in algae. So again, that orange color in lobster or in flamingos, it comes from a form of algae that those animals, those organisms eat.
Great information. You see, we learn something new every day with Andrew. Stay right there for Ultimate Women's Wellness. We're going to go over to the prostate now.
Right.
I'll rephrase that maybe.
And certainly what's exciting is every day I could publish another video blog talking about another study, important study that's published. Unfortunately, the only studies lately that make it into newspapers and things like that, and most of the mass media, tend to be negative studies about vitamins. Even though the positive studies might outnumber them 20 or 30 to 1. I was just listening to someone interviewed on NPR about omega-3s. And I don't really like this show on NPR, but it was outrageously irresponsible in talking about the fact that omega-3s in fish oil could be undermining the fisheries of our ocean. And the fact the omega-3s that come in fish oil products are generally a byproduct of those fish being used for animal feed. Right. So the primary use of those fish are animal feed. It's not the supplements that are driving the consumption of that fish. And certainly for us, we still go about it responsibly. So it seems that because so many of us have adopted and embraced supplements, the only interesting media tends to be negative media. So maybe it's incumbent on me to do these occasional video blogs that emphasizes all of the positive science that's out there that doesn't warrant being talked about, because positive science doesn't get clicks on the internet.
Right.
And the only thing that gets clicks, which generates money and revenue for journalism, are things that are controversial, things that are not necessarily what we already know. So if another study is published that vitamin D is wonderful or omega-3s are wonderful, it's like, we don't really care. So it doesn't really get the media play.
Andrew, last question, and I know we're going to go into prostate support just real fast, because this has happened a couple times. Joanne's asking about omega-3s and krill oil. Which should I purchase? Well,
krill oil is something that I am concerned about on an environmental level. Just as I talked about potentially eliminating our Ubiquinol product because I don't think it's a good investment versus Ubiquinone, krill oil doesn't have much science. Krill is also an organism that marine mammals depend on. And I'm not sure, unlike the fisheries, I'm not sure if krill oil can be fished without impacting marine mammals like whales and other certain types of seals, things like that. So I'm a little concerned about krill. And plus, like I said about as I said about CoQ10, the majority of the science on omega-3s is on fish oil, or even algal oil. It's not on krill oil. So I think, and krill oil is more expensive. You have to swallow more pills. So I'm seriously considering eliminating my krill oil product because I think it's an environmentally responsible decision. I'm reviewing it, I'm contemplating it, but I don't take krill oil. We have a krill oil product. It's as good a krill oil product as you'll ever see in the marketplace, but I take my maximum essential omega-3. That's the best way in terms of the science to get your omega-3s.
Where else can you get this type of information, this type of open forum, open honesty as to everything? Andrew talking about his krill oil. I hope that answers the question. Open and honest.
How many folks who manufacture products tell you not to take one of their products? Well, and I'm telling you probably not to take two of my products that I actually think that for two different reasons, I think they're better choices. And the better choices, guess what? My max essential omega-3 to get per milligram will cost you less than half as much. My CoQ10 versus Ubiquinol per milligram will probably cost you 20% as much. So, in fact, I'm recommending a path that, unlike most companies, that actually is much more economical.
We're going to head over this way, but I appreciate what William just said about this is very important information, and thank you, Andrew, for talking about it. And William's saying for everybody to share this information on your friends' timelines. We'd certainly appreciate that. This is truly valuable.
By the way, we didn't talk about prostate support at all. And which is such an important product. When I was on TV 20 years ago, I might have talked about how important it was, but it wasn't personally important to me. Right. So I don't know if the graphic is up there on prostate support. But for every man as he's aging, if you want to is sort of where we notice it as men as we get older is really our urinary function, not so much during the day, but even usually at night, those feelings of urgency at night. So it's a small capsule. You only need to take one capsule daily, but prostate support is one of those things. If you're a man and experiencing those moments in the evening where you're asleep and you have to wake up, and maybe more than once you have to wake up to empty your bladder, that's usually the bladder's relationship with your prostate, the influence the prostate has on our bladders. So as we get older, it's just something that goes with the territory for men. So it's prostate support, a great choice. If you know a man that's going through those issues, then it's very important that you recommend this product to them, or a product like it. It's just simply standardized extract of saw palmetto, and our product, of course. The prostate is something that all men, as they get older, just as women are very conscientious about their breast health as they get older, and making sure that they get the appropriate testing with their doctor periodically. Men, we need to be conscientious about our prostate. We also need to be conscientious also, of course, about getting about our colon and things like that as well. We can't postpone those sorts of things, because it's good to get the great news and go get it. You don't want to not do that kind of normal screening.
We're going to talk about strong and healthy bones and teeth with Andrew's Calcium Magnesium Intensive Care with vitamin D3, and most important of all, no stomach upset. Folks, this is a capsule, not a tablet. Andrew talked a lot about that earlier today. We know that it's not beneficial necessarily to be taking those rock-hard tablets. A capsule, completely different, a more expensive process.
It's just unpleasant to take rock-hard tablets, especially there's no better example than calcium magnesium. We have several reviews where folks have talked about their multivitamin, they've talked about their calcium tablets, where not only we've had some that have talked about their doctors see it on x-rays going through them, but we've also heard from many folks reviews where they're talking about seeing it leave their body, seeing it in their stool. So this is an ultrafine powder in a capsule. Calcium and magnesium are metals. They're technically considered metals. If you looked at a periodic table of the elements, they are grouped with the metals. Metals don't tend to be highly water soluble. So calcium and magnesium are not highly water soluble. As you can see, that capsule, when I open it, an ultrafine powder, now if I can open the capsule here, there we go. And again, imagine that compressed into a rock. These are all minerals. You compress this into a rock, and what you end up with is a rock.
Right.
What is a rock except a dense, small mass of minerals? So to think that that's an intelligent and a desirable way to deliver dietary supplements that are going to be usable, plus it is an absolute fact that unless these dissolve and go into solution, you can't absorb or use them. So why would someone choose to deliver them in a form which resists going into solution? When a vitamin company is making a product from these ingredients, those ingredients come to their factory as a fine powder. They have to turn it into a tablet. So they have to basically take those freely available ingredients and imprison them and make them unavailable. And then you have the work of dealing with that tablet and hopefully liberating them and making them available again, which is, as far as I'm concerned, undesirable and unpredictable.
We're going to go to vitamin K2. I know that there's a question just come through as well from Jeannie, which I'll get to. Vitamin K2, Andrew, also for bones and skeleton, again, a focus.
Well, where I really love vitamin K2 is not so much in terms of bones and skeleton, but in terms of our cardiovascular system. And there was a question asked earlier about certain nutrients need to be taken together. Vitamin D should be taken with calcium to ensure that calcium can be absorbed. Vitamin D is involved with calcium absorption. That's part of one of its many roles as a prohormone in our body. But they don't have to be taken at the same time. All you simply want is healthy vitamin D levels. You could take, say, 15,000 IU of vitamin D one day a week, have healthy vitamin D levels, and when you take calcium, it's going to be managed appropriately by your body because the vitamin D is present. Ideally, it's better to take vitamin D on a daily basis. My point was, the proximity of the nutrients to one another doesn't matter. The fact that you have healthy vitamin D levels when you introduce calcium, that's what matters. But most important for me is vitamin K2, MK7. If you're taking calcium, if you're taking vitamin D, even if you're taking neither of them, and you're getting all of your calcium from your diet, and somehow you're managing to get vitamin D from your diet as well, then you still need vitamin K2, MK7, because that is what ensures that calcium goes where it's supposed to go in your bones and stays there, and doesn't go where it's not supposed to go say, your joints or arteries, and that's most important, the flexibility, resiliency of arteries. We don't want calcification of those tissues. So that's the importance of vitamin K2, MK7. Speaking of recent research, there was just a great study that I think in just a short period of time, just 6 months, because usually we think of diet and supplements to have really global benefits, it takes a while to observe them. We're not talking about, say, my healthy hair, skin, and nail product, but when we talk about health benefits, but in a short period of time, I believe it was 6 months, there was a significant change in the flexibility of arteries in folks who are getting vitamin K2, MK7.
Amazing, just amazing. And again, please, we encourage you to read those reviews online at hsn.com. It's fascinating to see what real life experience brings to the table, and what people have said over the years as they've been taking Andrew's vitamins. Just a reminder, all of this special pricing for our birthday month expires tonight at midnight. What did you see last week when Andrew was here, or the week before, that you didn't pick up or you wanted to get? The free shipping, the flex pays, the special deals are all about to expire, so make sure you get yours. And just real fast, Jen said something that I appreciate, I think you'll like. I've been taking many supplements for 20 years, over 20 years, and consider myself well educated in the way of what to take. But I have really learned a lot from Andrew in the past 9 months. So grateful. I'm glad you can now discuss all these topics on air with us. Please never stop educating us, which is wonderful.
Thank you. Well, that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
If I could just do this and we didn't even have to have a graphic on the screen that a product was available, that would be even better. But that's what's great about the internet, is it will provide that opportunity for me to create more digital content that's just information that answers questions, that just gives general health and wellness information. And when people stop me and talk to me, they generally are not asking me questions about supplements as much as they're asking me questions about their diet and their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we care about most. There are some quick questions here. Meredith Fowler asked, is it better to take supplements at night or in the morning? Obviously, if you're taking something like nighttime, you take it at night before you go to sleep. But other supplements, you can take them whatever period of time works best for you. I generally divide my supplements between breakfast and lunch. But whatever period of time works best. For some folks, B vitamins can be a little bit stimulatory at the end of the day. They don't impact me at all, but for some people it can, so then better to take those earlier in the day. But I prefer to take them with food, so that's the best time. But as I always say, whenever works best for you, whenever you'll use them most consistently, because like a medicine, compliance is where you get the best results. So when you use them daily, that's when you experience the best results. What is the difference between vitamin D from sunlight and from a capsule? Unfortunately, from vitamin D from sunlight, it comes with it the risk of potential damage to your skin. Unfortunately, as we get older, we produce vitamin D from sunlight far more inefficiently. It's hard to achieve healthy levels of vitamin D from sunlight. We don't expose much of our body. We're usually using sunscreens. So as much as I'd like to say that ideally, if we're running around naked out in nature, we're going to get plenty of vitamin D, but we don't do that anymore. Plus, most of us live in areas where the climate 6-7 months of the year isn't all that desirable in terms of being able to go outside and get exposure to sunlight. So to avoid damage to our skin, and vitamin D3, it's ultimately the same compound. So it is bioidentical, it is the same compound, and ultimately it achieves the same thing we seek to achieve, which is a healthy blood level of hydroxyvitamin D in our body.
We're going to head over this way.
And one more as we walk over.
Please.
Suzanne Horton asked, are there any plans to make a children's vitamin? The answer is absolutely, and we'll have it soon. I didn't want to make a tableted children's vitamin because it requires additives, and I don't like additives, least of all to children or animals. So what we're going to do is it'll be a little mini packet. We're working on using some of our berry extracts that are from our fruitful antioxidants and things like that, or cranberry or pomegranate. And we'll be able to mix our vitamins. We've gotten so good at vitamins from our secure meal replacement. We'll be able to mix it in a little beverage. We'll be able to use a special sweetener that pretty much only we're going to have, that's a special version of stevia.
Oh, wow.
So a natural sweetener. So it'll come in a little sugar packet, and it'll be a children's multivitamin, and it will be absolutely delicious. So that's something that's coming in the future.
See, lots to look forward to. Andrew hears and sees everything, folks, that I know you request of him and things that you'd love to do. And I know you're passionate about doing all of it.
And we've been working on that for only a couple of decades. so as they say, a product, we don't bring something to you before it's time. We do it patiently. And when I'll be in Nevada next week, and I'll be tasting a number of these products. So hopefully we're getting very, very close. And it would be something, because that's one of the things, whether it's products for pets.
Yeah.
I don't want tablets with additives for pets. So I want to do the exact same thing. It'd be like a little sugar packet. You empty that little sugar packet in your dog's food, and your dog has what they need.
Well, talking of stories in a long time coming, there's a big story behind circulation and vein support that Andrew will get to. I can tell you, talk about see the difference, feel the difference product. This is a prime example.
This is a product that even having read the clinical science and the clinical studies, it's easy to understand why this product is so effective. But I can't help but be moved when I read the reviews. And that's why I encourage everyone to read the reviews on this product. This is an ingredient that about over 20 years ago, we had to go through the process of bringing this ingredient over to the U.S. because this ingredient was not as natural as it is. It wasn't available in the U.S. In fact, it was available in Europe, but it was treated differently. Although a natural ingredient in Europe, they decided to treat it at that time. It's since changed, but at that time, they decided to treat it and put it in products that were treated as drugs, medications, and recommended by doctors for the healthy circulation of their patients' legs, making all sorts of kind of medical claims for it. We don't make medical claims for it. It's simply a product that deals with the inevitable experience we will all have as we get older, as we go through our normal days, that the blood vessels in our feet, ankles, and calves, they tend to enlarge. Those tissues tend to enlarge and they swell. If we have health issues or taking certain medications, it could only make it worse. If we're overweight or obese, can only make it worse. So this is a product that really allows us to, as I often say, turn back the clock. And it's one of those products, sort of like our healthy hair, skin, and nails, that I think we should all be healthy skeptics when it comes to every product I make. But this product, it's 2 capsules daily, and you will be astounded at the difference you experience in just a few weeks, let alone in 30 days.
Well, I can tell you, just fascinating to see the response to this. Out of all the wonderful things we've done so far tonight, this is our fastest selling item. I think a lot of you perhaps have heard Andrew talk about circulation and vein support over the years. In fact,
we're just reordering it before the birthday price goes away.
That could be it. The rush is on for that. But even things like this, Andrew, William says, I've been taking circulation now for over 25 years. Great supplement.
Yep.
It comes with a history. People love this.
No, this is a product that, and how many of us use any product for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. There are so many folks who use our products and have used them for over 30 years. I started making vitamins 39 years ago. I would say there are, and it's interesting now that QVC and HSN are one, so it's because well, I started at QVC.
Indeed.
And I guarantee there are tens of thousands of folks are probably watching who have been using the supplements since those days, 25, 26, 27 years ago, 28 years ago. So,
well, in fact, Andrew, this is from Olga. Olga's been with you for 30 years. Thank you, the best. Keep up with the dedication and fabulous product. God bless you. I mean, there's so many people that have listened to Andrew and heard what Andrew's had to say. And again, it's information. As Andrew will stand here and tell you, he doesn't mind if nobody buys anything in this show. All he truly cares about is getting across the facts, the information.
HSN might not invite me back. but my real goal is, as I've always said, and the credit goes to the gentleman who was at I didn't want to go on TV. Back 28 years ago, 29 years ago, I didn't want to go on TV. It's not what I did. It scared me to death. And so at the time, I figured the perfect way to avoid going on TV is I said, I don't want to sell. I just want to educate. So I refuse to sell. I'm only going to educate. And I won't care if anyone buys. And so the gentleman's name was Doug Briggs. He says, good. That's what we want people to do. We want people to educate. And I'm like, oh, great. I guess
couldn't get out of that one.
No, but it's so for me, the most important thing I do, and I've recognized for all the time I've been on television, for every bottle that someone might try of mine, people go online or they go to their Walmart or Target, whatever, and they do the best they can to find something that might be similar. And hopefully, eventually, they end up with us to really be fully satisfied with the product they get. But the information I provide, I know fuels curiosity and fuels a desire to be empowered and do something for our health. So I'm quite happy if people try to find the best supplement they can at their pharmacy or at whatever store they go to.
It's funny, I'll tell you, because being here 10 years now, and you know, coming to America, I'd never known of Andrew. And then I used to see Andrew on TV when I'd come into the building and think, who's this guy? What's he doing? What's all these vitamins?
Blue shirt.
He loves those blue shirts. He is now a fashion icon here at HSN.
Yeah, fashion icon, yes. That's me.
You do the research and you discover that Andrew is above and beyond, and that's why it's a joy to do these shows. Andrew, you talk about joyous. Reading through the reviews, there was a couple of comments that stood out to me. Life-changing was used time and time again with regards to this.
This product, when we like to focus on sometimes the words that are chosen in reviews, because they seem so surprising, not inappropriate, but surprising, where you'll see words like over 1,000 times, you'll see words like love on a product like this, or life-changing. And as I've often said, this is one of those products, I love to talk about the benefit of the benefit. It's something that a gentleman at QVC back almost 30 years ago, Steve Bryant, used to always talk about, that it's more than the benefit of, say, this reducing, at the end of the day, the swelling that you feel or see in your leg, or the agitated feeling, the restless feeling you have in your leg. The real benefit isn't that. The real benefit is the benefit of that benefit, because maybe you go out dancing, maybe you go to the movies, maybe you go to the gym, which is a review I read the other day, that it transformed someone's workout regime. And that was the benefit of the benefits. So again, it increases someone's ability to lose weight because it allows them to become more active, or they spend more time with their grandchildren, or another review was they spend time crawling around on their floor with the grandchildren. Right. So those are the benefits of the benefit. And I think certainly we seek the benefits, but our life is made richer by the benefits of those benefits.
There's a lot of benefits all around. I think we can all agree on the benefits.
Yes.
We're excited that you're seeing the benefit of this show. We're going over this way. Just 20 minutes left to get through a lot of great things, and also a couple products now that are not typically seen on television. We're going to be talking a little bit about our tummies, our stomachs, our digestion. And let me tell you, this is on the table of virtually every host here at HSN. Breath Plus gets very little airtime and is an amazing product.
It's a great product, because most of us will be cognizant of, say, brushing or flossing, oral hygiene, but we also are cognizant of the fact that if we have coffee, if we smoke, if we have garlic, if we have spicy foods, that the contents of our stomach are, what, 10 inches away from our mouth? So how naive of us to think that those contents won't affect our breath, especially because after we eat, the contents of our stomach, what we've eaten, remains in our stomach for the next, say, 3 to 5 hours. So what this product does, it's basically Mother Nature's little room deodorizer, and that little room is your stomach. It's parsley seed extract, it's spearmint extract, and it's peppermint extract. So it serves two purposes. It's both naturally settling for the stomach, but it's just a natural breath freshener. And for many of us, depending on if we might struggle with our breath, for some of us it could be issues in our mouth, it could be probiotic issues, so we need to make sure that we have a proper complement of friendly flora, both orally and in our digestive system. And certainly with this product, when we're talking about our gastric contents, whether it might be morning breath, we have a lot of reviews that talk about taking a capsule before they go to sleep, and it makes a difference with morning breath.
There's a lot of, I remember last time we aired this, which I think with Andrew and I was a year ago or so, there's a lot of people that have various breath products, and if you look at the ingredients, it's like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant, brilliant. If you are working with people all day and every day, if you're getting up close with people all day and every day, maybe you're a realtor and meeting people at houses, that, you know, I mean, in any kind of social situation or business situation, try this product. I know there's only like 10 seconds on it, but it is phenomenal. Don't forget, free shipping and flex pay, and very good value on it.
By the way, we probably we'll end up having talked about, I don't know, 25 or 30 products. And then plus the other products we spoke about because of the questions. Well, this will probably be the world record for products in any hour in TV retail.
We did it, Andrew.
Probably 3 or 4 dozen products, yes.
Well, there's the Breath Plus again.
Breath
we
Plus.
do see you there. I can't recommend that enough.
And that's been a product we've had for about 30 years. The next product I think we're going to do is Bean and Veggie Gas Relief. This is a product that I still remember when we first developed this product. Well, it gets a chuckle because I was the first guinea pig for this product. Scientifically, that I knew that the ingredients in this product were enzymes that tend to break down and digest the fructooligosaccharides that are present in cruciferous vegetables or beans and other sorts of foods that cause gas. So if you break down those chemical structures, the fructooligosaccharides, you reduce or eliminate their gas-forming potential. So the way I tried this product, this is back in the day when I was helping to coach my goddaughter's soccer team, that I figured before we went to the game, I had 2 large bowls of black bean soup and 2 large bowls of pea soup. And I figured that would be the ultimate proof. And of course, my goddaughter was warning everyone on the team to keep a safe distance away from me because God knows what was going to happen. But of course, it was the ultimate test that the product, the enzymes in the product actually performed as they were supposed to. But I don't recommend trying that at home. It was just an interesting experience at the time, and that was probably about, I would say that was at least 15 years ago. So this is a product that we rarely speak about on air, but it's another customer pick, a product that has taken on online in the digital universe a life of its own.
So then final piece of this particular puzzle for dairy and lactose tolerance. There's a lot of talk about this.
And with the bean and veggie, another thing that excites me about it, I love legumes and beans. Right. I love cruciferous vegetables, and there are so many people out there that struggle with them for those digestive issues. So it's worth a try just to see if it works for you, because then you could reincorporate these healthy foods into your diet, which would be fantastic. Dairy and lactose tolerance. There are several products on the market. Again, it's an enzyme, and it's an enzyme that's designed to basically digest the offending component, and that offending component is lactose. So it's a very straightforward product. It's a little 2-piece capsule. For some folks, what they do is they open up that capsule. It's this little capsule here. They'll open up the capsule, and they might put it into milk or cream, but the best thing to do is when you're having any of those foods, you just have to have it, and you can see it's an ultra fine powder, which ensures it goes to work immediately. You just have to have it at the same time that you're consuming those foods, either just before, say within 30 minutes of starting that meal, or within, say, 30 minutes to an hour of finishing that meal, when it comes to bean and veggie gas relief, or when it comes to dairy and lactose. As you can see, those ultrafine powders will be available within moments to go to work. That's why I can never understand those products when they're in tablets. To digest a tablet that's supposed to help you immediately digest something you already ate, it doesn't seem like the best way to go about it.
You know, we talked about being skeptical in life, and you know, it's healthy to be skeptical about what we see. It's also astonishing how trusting many of us are when we see the glossy advertising, the marketing out there. It's easy to be pulled in, Andrew.
Well, I think for me, we were talking before about the fact that, you know, all of us will sometimes hope and will try anything once. And I think that's something that's human nature. We want to trust, we want to be able to trust, even though I think sometimes the world of the internet has told us we have to be careful. But what I'm most proud of here at HSN, our products have by far the lowest return rate.
They do.
And by far the highest reorder rate. That I'd probably say any single product we feature during a visit, I'd say minimum 90%, likely higher, are reorders. So for me, that's the testament to a product. Anyone, and certainly not the case with me, but folks will say what they need to say to encourage you to try their product. For me, I try to give very objective information, because I don't want you to try the product as much as I want you to feel you are informed to try the product, so then you'll continue to benefit from it in the future. You don't need to be sold to try something. You need to be educated and informed to decide to try something.
And on that note, we're going to head over to a product that often gets a lot of grunts and groans and growls from folks when you talk about fiber products, Andrew. Yours is different, right?
Well, when we talk about, lately, the glamour product in terms of digestive health tends to be probiotics. And we'll talk about probiotics in a second. I think fiber ours is really affordable. To a lot of people, fiber's just not exciting.
Right.
To me, our digestive system cannot, not to me, anyone will tell you that fiber is an absolutely integral part of a healthy diet. And if there's one thing that studies of the American diet show, that even the minimal levels, and I think the levels of fiber that our government says we should consume are, I think, about half of what we should consume. And I probably consume 3 or 4 times more than they recommend. Wow. But even at those low levels that are recommended, most Americans don't come close.
Right.
And so it's no wonder we struggle with regularity and we struggle with our digestion, because also, guess one thing that fiber delivers? Fiber delivers the most important food that our friendly flora love to eat.
Right.
So if you want to have well-nourished, happy, and friendly flora, you want to eat a diet rich in fiber. So that's the key to accomplishing that. And unfortunately, most of us eat a diet that's devoid of fiber. Most of the fiber products on the market are extremely unpleasant to use. Even the ones that are beverages nowadays, they tend to be fiber that is processed fiber. It's like a synthetic fiber. If you can mix fiber with water and it looks perfectly clear, it's generally something like maltodextrin, which really isn't a natural fiber. This is natural fiber. It's extremely mild. It doesn't cause gas or bloating. Again, read the reviews. It's virtually unanimously, positively reviewed product.
Andrew, Yvette says, I read an article that you should take fiber separate from your other vitamins. Is this true?
No. It's certainly not with my fiber. Again, if we think about things, when are we supposed to take vitamins? We're supposed to take vitamins with meals. Why do we take vitamins with meals? Because that's when our digestive system is most receptive and stimulated to absorb the nutrients that we deliver in meals. When do we normally get fiber? We get fiber with meals. So also, I'm not one of those folks that recommend that you take a handful of these capsules. This fiber is potent, yet mild. So you're talking about, with a meal, taking 1 or 2 capsules, 3 at most with a meal. So you're not talking about taking fiber like a drug that could interfere with the absorption of certain, sometimes they'll say fat-soluble nutrients, but it would not be the case with this product. Our Fiber Mucil, take 1, 2, 3 capsules with a meal. Absolutely no issues whatsoever with the absorption of the key nutrients in your supplements or in that meal.
So, Andrew, what are some of the consequences if we're not actually getting enough fiber? What does that do to us, other than the obvious?
Well, I would just say you walk down the over-the-counter drug section of a supermarket or pharmacy, and you get an idea. Fiber is necessary for healthy digestion. Fiber is essential for regularity. If we want to talk about even cardiovascular risk, those of us who eat more fiber, go figure, have lower lifetime risk of cardiovascular issues. So fiber is healthy for our cardiovascular system. It's obviously healthy for our colon. So if we want to have long-term health of our digestive system and colon, then we eat a diet that's richer in fiber. And foods that are richer in fiber are also richer in nutrients, and they're also lower in calories. So fiber-rich foods are the secret to a weight loss diet, because when you eat those fiber-rich foods, you're getting more fiber and less calories and more nutrients. So again, fiber, it's sort of the keys to the kingdom when it comes to digestive health. And the best source of fiber, this is the best fiber supplement you're ever going to find, but an even better source of fiber is just making sure that fiber defines the foods that we eat. And as much as I do that on a daily basis, I still consume 1 or 2 capsules of this with each meal.
I hope that answers your question. If you've got more questions about Fiber Mucil, of course, you can go online, hsn.com. We're going to go this way. Just a reminder, if you want to connect with Andrew outside of HSN, wordsonwellness.com is a great place, a great destination to do it.
And I'm going to try to now post, now that we'll have some time off, I'm going to try to post some more video blogs where, and the more questions that you provide us, the more it gives me an opportunity. And then we could take those blogs and make those video blogs available as you've requested. So we could have, if there are 50 most frequently asked questions, we'll make sure that we take little segments of those videos to answer all your questions. Or if you have friends who have questions, you could always refer them to a video. So my goal is that no question goes unanswered. That's my goal.
And that's what we love doing this for. It really is. Our producer just reminded my ear, we have a 10-minute warning. It's unfortunately, it's the final 10 minutes with Andrew for 3 months. If you're looking for special pricing on any of Andrew's products, they are expiring today. And of course, the fabulous free shippings and the flex pays. Steve's telling me that Friendly Flora has been a very popular selection the past couple days.
Oh, our Ultimate Friendly Flora has become our Friendly Flora and our Ultimate Friendly Flora have always been popular products, but now I think the real popularity has come from the fact that I'm not the only one speaking about probiotics.
Right.
For a couple of decades, I was, but now, and certainly there are a number of people in the know who, the moment I spoke about it 15 years ago or so, they were excited. So now all of, like the mass market companies, there are big companies talking about probiotics and talking about Friendly Flora. They tend to make rather impressive claims, the kinds of claims that I won't make in terms of digestive health. Even though I might feel certain of these claims are warranted, I just get uncomfortable lavishing too much praise on a supplement. As we heard before, when someone was making a testimonial about a product, yes, I enjoy reading that or hearing that, but I'd rather be more conservative and let the product speak for itself.
Yes.
And what we've done here with this product, it's 25 billion colony-forming units per capsule. We selected the form and the strains of the probiotic, of the Friendly Flora, based upon the science and the research. Very, very, as you look here, if you went on the research and you plugged in any of those names, if, say, you're videotaping this, you could, or take a screenshot. If you just went online and did some research on Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus plantarum, Lactobacillus salivarius, and there are dozens of different strains, Bifidobacterium lactis, kind of like a multivitamin. These are the foundational strains of probiotics that have the greatest scientific validation over, say, the last decade or two. And then there are all sorts of interesting ones for different purposes, but this is really the foundation of a healthy probiotic right here.
So who is this for, Andrew? What benefit will I see?
It's for all of us. That unfortunately we live in a world that's a sterilized world. Right. Beyond our taking antibiotics periodically and oftentimes too frequently, and antibiotics only work for us if we have a bacteria that requires them. All too often we take them when we have viruses or things like that, which antibiotics have no impact on viruses, just on bacteria. But, and again, our food supply. Antibiotics are just ubiquitous in our food supply. So what happens, and we sanitize our homes with all sorts of cleaning products, antibacterial this and antibacterial that. So the next thing you know, we live in this world that no longer has any pathogens, any negative, adverse, unfriendly bacteria, but we've also wiped out all the friendly flora, the friendly bacteria as well. And in a healthy person, our cells should be outnumbered by our cells. The trillions of cells in our body should be outnumbered by the friendly flora that occupy or live with us, whether in our digestive system, whether in our immune system. So that friendly flora is a critical part of a healthy immune system, a critical part of a healthy digestive system. And if we don't have a healthy complement and a healthy balance, those systems cannot function as they were intended. They cannot function well.
Well, we're going to end over this way with, I believe, our final item.
How could this almost be over?
I can't believe it.
What's so funny, it's been a long several months for me, and truth be told, I'm rarely ever tired, and I was feeling a little lower energy when I got here.
It's understandable.
But what's funny is it's just talking about all these. I can't help but get excited. I'll sleep like a baby tonight. So I'll probably go to sleep in the green room the minute we leave. But no. But it's just exciting to cover so many questions, to cover so many products, and it just reminds me that we're merely scratching the surface with the questions people have. And as someone recommended in an earlier question, that I think it's very important that more than just supplements and the science on supplements and the ingredients that we choose, it's important that I share, because I read just as much about lifestyle, I read just as much about diet, share little pointers that I was talking about before about a healthy brain. A healthy brain is more than any ingredient I put in a supplement here. A healthy brain has to do with a whole range of other things we do, and that's just that'd be a really important and exciting what were you saying I should do earlier? That
a podcast.
A podcast to talk about just simple lifestyle things that we could all incorporate to have a healthier brain.
I just appreciate good information, and I know you do as well. And we don't all know everything. So when somebody's a leader in their field, and Andrew really is in this world, it's important and exciting to hear him talk. We wanted to end on this. Sorry, you're going to say?
And, yeah, normally this is a product that we talk about because normally this is a product we can't keep in stock beginning around September.
Yep.
So we just wanted to, in advance, because sometimes in the summer, there's also things that we do that might undermine the health of our immune system. And as I say with this product, there's no cure, there's no nutritional supplement or dietary supplement that's a cure, prevention, or anything for the common cold or flu, notwithstanding what other companies might say. But the only tool we have and the only defense we've always had is our immune system. So what this product was intended to do, when we might do things that are adverse to our immune system, this is a product that's intended to support our immune system. I'm someone, so after long weekends like this, a couple of weekends in a row like this, when I might not be getting as much sleep as I normally get, that's when I know that my immune system becomes vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's when I know that I do things to support it. Adequately hydrate, and then I'll do my best to get plenty of sleep now.
It's funny because Colleen Lopez, who you saw with Andrew just last night, but was it last night?
Yes.
I'm confused there.
Yes.
But Colleen is the one that turned me on to this originally. We wanted to end the show with immune factors because it's such an important product and a lot of people swear by it. And just as Steve said, our producer, get ahead of the game by getting it now.
And it's a product that evolved. That product, 39 years ago, my immune support product was vitamin C and B complex.
Right.
Then it became vitamin C, B complex, and echinacea. Vitamin C, B complex, echinacea, and golden seal.
Right.
And then we added a mushroom complex, and then we added astragalus. And now we're looking at actually adding another ingredient or two in the future. So it's the perfect demonstration of a product, and we've even changed recently the mushroom complex. It's the perfect demonstration of how my products have evolved over almost 40 years of creating them. And it's a product that, surprisingly enough, is really almost perfectly reviewed.
Yes.
I think it's about 4.6, 4.7
4.8.
4.8 stars. So probably 96% or more positive reviews. So it's a product that it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and what it does is it deals with our only defense we have, and that's our immune system. So the only thing we could do is try to do things that support it.
And Andrew, one a day?
That's a multivitamin that I don't make.
Very good. You said you were tired. You're on the ball.
But no, this is a product. The way I take this product is I take it, like now, weekend like this, I take it. So I take it as a very specific and intentional support to my immune system. Many people take it on a daily basis, and that's what you'll read many reviews of people who do just that. And it can be taken in that fashion. But for me, the way I take it is I'll take it at those times where I know that I'm sort of burning the candle at both ends, as I've been doing the last couple of weekends. So that's when I take it.
If you can, you should really order this one. It's on the hit list. We've been through a lot and gone through a lot, and Andrew shared with us a lot of information today and obviously the past few weeks. If there is anything that you did not buy that was on your list, the pricing all expires today. On hsn.com, you can search for every single one of Andrew's products. Don't forget, the free shipping also expires today.
Plus, I wanted to say one thing that I've been asked a few times recently. Everything we make is made with solar energy. We even offset the carbon footprint of the shipments. So we're entirely environmentally responsible. Plus, I'm asked, we donate 3 bottles for every bottle you order. We do that when I'm here, but we do that all the time too.
Look at this.
So we do it all the time. So we've donated almost 1 billion, or we've donated over 1 billion doses of prenatal vitamins. So and thanks to you, we're able to be environmentally responsible and socially responsible, which makes me proud.
It's a win-win-win all round. We're also very thankful for everyone who joined our show tonight on the phone, on Facebook. Andrew, we'll see you soon.
Thank you for the questions.
3 months from now.
3 months from now, but we'll do some video posts.
Thank you, everybody.
Sure.
Thank you for watching the Monday Night Show. Bye.
This month, we are celebrating HSN's 41st birthday and giving away a trip a day to our hometown right here in Gray, Florida. The St.